Welcome, environmental enthusiasts. Hazardous waste management is a topic of increasing importance in today's world. As we strive for sustainability, understanding how we handle these potentially harmful materials is crucial. Before we dive into the ins and outs of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, or RCRA, let's set the stage for this essential piece of legislation. It's important to remember that RCRA didn't materialize out of nowhere. It was born out of necessity and a response to growing environmental awareness. In this video, we'll journey through the history, objectives, and impacts of RCRA, helping you understand its role in shaping the way we manage hazardous waste today. So, buckle up and prepare for a deep dive into the world of waste management. Now, let's delve into the environmental awareness that led to the birth of this legislation. In the 1960s and 70s, America's industrial growth was skyrocketing. This rapid growth, however, came with a price tag: an overwhelming amount of waste. Landfills were filling, some rivers became contaminated with industrial waste, and our air was smoggy and unclean. The situation was further complicated by a hodgepodge, or lack of standardized waste management policies and practices. Various companies were disposing of their waste in ways that were harmful to both the environment and public health. The situation was unhealthy. People, young and old, were getting sick, resulting in public outcry. Images of rivers catching fire and smog-choked cities were making headlines, shocking the nation into awareness. It was clear that something had to change. This was the wake-up call that led to the creation of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, known as RCRA. So, let's take a closer look at the history of RCRA and how it used as a weapon to help combat the growing environmental crisis in the United States. As the environmental crisis escalated, the public's concern grew louder. The images of polluted rivers and smog-filled skies weren't just headlines, they were the harsh realities of daily life. People were not only witnessing the environmental damage, but also feeling its effects on their health and well-being. This public outcry became a powerful force, propelling the issue of waste management into the national spotlight. It was this collective voice that eventually caught the attention of the government. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the government began to take serious note and do something. The mounting pressure led to a series of discussions, debates, and deliberations within the corridors of power. The need for a robust, comprehensive solution was evident, and the government was awakened to the urgent call. This was the pivotal moment that marked the start of a historical journey. A journey that would lead to the creation of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. As the public outcry heightened, the government was forced to wake up and create a comprehensive solution to the waste management crisis. So RCRA began to take shape. This period was marked by a flurry of activity within government circles. Environmental experts, lawmakers, industry leaders, and concerned citizens came together to discuss the problem at hand and explore possible solutions. It was a time of brainstorming, of heated debates, and of collaborative problem-solving. Out of this, ideas were born, and a consensus began to emerge. The United States needed a legal framework that would regulate the generation, transportation, treatment, storage, and disposal of waste. This was the seed that would eventually grow into the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. However, the journey from idea to legislation was not a smooth one. It involved intense negotiation, compromise, and adaptation. But the driving force behind it all was a shared commitment to protect our environment and safeguard public health. In the next chapter, we will delve into the historical journey of RCRA. As the urgency of the situation escalated, a groundbreaking solution was taking shape behind the scenes. The Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, known as RCRA, was being crafted with meticulous care and foresight. This was not just another piece of legislation. It was a symbol of hope, a promise of change, and a testament to the collective will of a nation grappling with an environmental crisis. The architects of RCRA were not just drafting a law, they were laying the foundation of a new era in waste management. This was a period of intense brainstorming, research, negotiations, and legislative drafting. The stage was set for the birth of RCRA, an act that would revolutionize waste management and set the tone for environmental protection in the decades to come. So, let's step into this crucial period and discover how RCRA was conceived, drafted, and finally brought into existence. As we step back in time, let's take a closer look into the corridors of power where the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act was being shaped. The process of drafting RCRA was not an easy task. It required balancing a variety of interests, including those of the industry, environmental activists, and public health advocates. The lawmakers and policy architects had to navigate through a maze of complex issues, scientific uncertainties, and political considerations. The drafting phase was marked by intense debates, rigorous scrutiny, and multiple revisions. But it was also a period of collaboration and consensus building, a testament to the shared commitment towards a sustainable future. Despite the challenges, the architects of RCRA remained steadfast in their mission. They meticulously crafted a comprehensive framework that reflected the nation's environmental aspirations while addressing practical realities. Stay tuned as we unravel the intricate process of crafting RCRA. In the wake of environmental legislation, society made a pivotal turn. The cultural shift that focused on cleaning our oceans, air, and just about everything around us. We now strive to make this a better world for future generations. This was a period marked by a transformation in societal attitudes towards waste management and environmental consciousness as well. Prior to RCRA, waste was largely an out-of-sight, out-of-mind issue. However, the environmental crisis and subsequent public outcry triggered a significant change in mindset. Society began to realize the gravity of the situation and the urgent need for change. RCRA was not only a legislative response to this crisis, but also a catalyst for this cultural shift. It was during this period that the concept of waste responsibility began to take root. The public started to understand that waste management was not just a government or industry problem, but a collective responsibility. This shift in perspective played a crucial role in the successful implementation of RCRA, as it encouraged individuals, businesses, and institutions to take a more proactive role in waste management. This cultural shift was instrumental in shaping the future of waste management, setting the stage for a more sustainable approach to resource conservation. It was a turning point that marked the transition from indifference to responsibility, from neglect to care, and from a linear consumption model to a circular economy. As we continue our journey exploring the historical journey of RCRA, remember this crucial cultural shift. It was the undercurrent that powered the success of this landmark legislation. Voiceover, as we transition from the birth of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act to its historical journey, let's pause and consider the cultural shift that occurred during this time. Remember, RCRA didn't just emerge in a vacuum. It was born out of a significant transformation in societal attitudes towards waste management. Before we delve into the nitty-gritty details of the act itself, it's crucial to understand this shift. It's a shift that moved us from the out of sight, out of mind mindset, where waste was someone else's problem, to a perspective where we all recognized our role in waste management. It was the realization that waste was not just an environmental issue, but a social and economic one as well. This shift didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't easy. It required a rethinking of our consumption habits and a reassessment of our values. It meant acknowledging the impact of our actions on the environment and taking responsibility for our waste. It was a shift that paved the way for the successful implementation of RCRA and set the tone for future waste management policies. This cultural shift was a crucial component of RCRA's success. It created an environment conducive to change, fostering collaboration between the government, industries, and the public. It was this shift that allowed RCRA to be more than just a piece of legislation. It became a catalyst for a broader societal movement towards sustainability. As we continue to explore RCRA's history, keep this cultural shift in mind. It's a testament to the power of collective action and the potential for positive change when we all take responsibility for our actions. Now let's delve into the historical journey of RCRA. Welcome to our deep dive into the world of waste management. Before we dive into the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, or RCRA, let's take a step back in time to understand its history. In the mid-1970s, America was grappling with a mounting waste crisis. Landfills were overflowing, cities were swamped with garbage, and the environment was under severe threat. The situation was dire, and the need for a comprehensive solution was clear. It was in these circumstances that RCRA was born. Signed into law by President Gerald Ford in 1976, RCRA was not just a response to public concerns about waste mismanagement. It was a strategic, forward-thinking solution to the impending waste crisis. The Act was designed with a bold vision to build a robust framework for efficient waste management while prioritizing resource conservation, human health, and environmental protection. Over the years, RCRA has evolved, adapting to the changing landscape of waste generation and management. It has expanded its purview, incorporating new types of waste and addressing emerging challenges. It has also influenced industries to take responsibility for their waste, from its generation to its final disposal. The impact of RCRA on our waste management practices has been profound. It has transformed the way we think about and handle waste, moving us from a linear use and dispose model to a more circular reduce, reuse, recycle approach. Now, let's move forward and explore the details of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. Before we delve into the specifics of the hazardous wastes overseen by RCRA, let's first understand how to identify hazardous waste. This is a fundamental step in RCRA's grand scheme of things, as it forms the basis for the stringent controls that follow. So, what exactly is hazardous waste? Simply put, hazardous waste is waste with properties that make it dangerous or potentially harmful to human health or the environment. This might seem like a broad definition, and that's because it is. The universe of hazardous wastes is large and diverse, covering a wide array of substances with different characteristics that render them hazardous. Hazardous wastes can be liquids, solids, contained gases, or sludges. They can be discarded commercial products like cleaning fluids or pesticides, or byproducts of manufacturing processes. But no matter their form or origin, all hazardous wastes share one common trait. They pose a significant threat to our health and our environment if not properly managed. To give you a clearer picture, let's take a look at some of the characteristics that can render a waste hazardous. Some wastes are considered hazardous due to their chemical makeup. These are wastes that contain certain hazardous constituents, such as heavy metals or toxic chemicals. Other wastes are deemed hazardous because of their physical properties. For instance, wastes that are ignitable, corrosive, reactive, or toxic are all classified as hazardous. But identifying hazardous waste isn't just about ticking boxes on a checklist. It's about understanding the inherent dangers of these wastes and the potential risks they pose. It's about appreciating the importance of proper waste management and the role we all play in ensuring our waste doesn't harm our health or our environment. Being able to identify hazardous waste is the first step in ensuring its proper management and disposal. It's a crucial part of RCRA's mission to protect human health and the environment from the potential hazards of waste disposal. And it's an essential piece of the puzzle in our journey towards a sustainable future. Now that we've looked at the birth of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act and how it revolutionized waste management, let's delve deeper into the specifics of the hazardous wastes it oversees. RCRA identifies 4 types of hazardous wastes: F-list, K-list, P-list, and U-list. These lists are not mere categories. They are meticulously curated inventories that help in identifying and managing hazardous wastes effectively. Starting with the F-list, these wastes stem from common manufacturing and industrial processes. Hence, they are often referred to as non-specific source wastes. This list covers a wide array of industries, and the wastes generated can be anything from spent solvent mixtures to wastewater sludge. It's a broad category that houses a diverse range of waste materials, but each item on the F list is characterized by its potential to harm human health and the environment if not properly managed. Next, we have the K list. These are wastes from specific industries, such as petroleum refining or pesticide manufacturing. Unlike the F list, these are source-specific wastes, meaning they are tied to a particular industrial process. The K list is more targeted in its scope, focusing on industries known to produce particularly hazardous waste. Lastly, we have the P list and U list, both of which revolve around discarded commercial chemical products. P list refers to acutely hazardous wastes. These are substances that can cause serious health effects at low doses or are fatal. The U list, on the other hand, comprises toxic wastes. These are chemicals that can cause injury or illness through exposure or are lethal when ingested or absorbed. Understanding these lists is key to comprehending the breadth and depth of RCRA's hazardous waste management. It's not just about controlling waste, it's about identifying it, understanding it, and then managing it in the most efficient and safe way possible. These lists are a testament to RCRA's meticulous approach to waste management and the lengths it goes to protect human health and the environment. The Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, often referred to as RCRA, is widely recognized for its cradle-to-grave system, a system that details comprehensive waste management from its very inception to its ultimate disposal. It meticulously oversees the genesis, transit, processing, preservation, and discarding of hazardous waste. In terms of generation, the cradle-to-grave system under RCRA, that hazardous waste is identified right at its birth. It sets strict guidelines for industries and institutions that produce waste making sure they adopt best practices to limit the generation of harmful waste. Then comes the transportation element, where RCRA's system ensures that hazardous waste is moved in a safe and secure manner. It mandates the use of licensed carriers and adherence to strict regulations regarding packaging, labeling, and transportation methods to prevent any accidents or spillages en route. When it comes to treatment, RCRA makes sure that hazardous waste is processed correctly and safely. It stipulates the use of approved and certified treatment facilities, which operate under stringent guidelines to neutralize or diminish the harmful of the waste. As for storage, the cradle-to-grave system is again vigilant to ensure that hazardous waste is stored properly. It mandates the use of specific types of containers and storage facilities that are built and maintained to certain safety standards. This is to prevent leaks and spills that could cause environmental harm. Finally, in terms of disposal, the cradle-to-grave system oversees the final fate of the hazardous waste. It advocates for waste to be discarded in a manner that has minimal environmental impact, encouraging the use of authorized landfill sites, incineration, or other approved disposal methods. In doing so, RCRA's cradle-to-grave system ensures a controlled and safe cycle for hazardous waste, minimizing its impact on the environment and public health. Voiceover. In the previous scenes, we've explored the cradle-to-grave system and its comprehensive approach to managing hazardous waste. Now, let's delve deeper into the regulatory requirements set forth by the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, or RCRA. RCRA comes with its own set of regulatory requirements that need to be adhered to by industries, institutions, and waste management entities. These regulations are designed to ensure the safe and efficient handling and disposal of hazardous waste. First, RCRA mandates stringent requirements for the transportation of hazardous waste. Registered and licensed carriers are required to move hazardous waste from its place of origin to designated treatment, storage, and disposal facilities. This is to ensure the waste is handled responsibly during transit, reducing the risk of accidental spillages and leaks that could potentially harm the environment. Next, RCRA outlines specific regulations for the storage and containment of hazardous waste. These include the use of approved containers and storage facilities, which must be maintained to certain safety standards. This is to prevent any potential leaks and spills that could pose a threat to both the environment and public health. In the event of a spill, the RCRA sets forth a detailed spill response procedure. This includes immediate containment of the spill, notification of relevant authorities, and comprehensive cleanup and remediation measures. The amendments to RCRA have only reinforced these regulations, expanding their scope and introducing new requirements. For instance, the inclusion of underground storage tanks in the Act has led to stricter regulations to prevent soil and groundwater contamination. Compliance with these regulations is not only a legal obligation, but also a significant step towards ensuring safe and effective waste management practices. Non-compliance can lead to severe penalties, including hefty fines and potential litigation. Understanding these regulations and implementing them effectively is key to ensuring the safe management of hazardous waste from cradle to grave. This not only protects our environment, but also safeguards public health, making the world a safer place for us all. In the next scene, we'll look at how these regulations have evolved over time, with the integration of amendments and expansion of RCRA's purview. Stay tuned to learn more. In 1984, RCRA underwent a massive transformation with the integration of the hazardous and solid waste amendments. which were instrumental in reshaping environmental regulations. These amendments not only fortified the existing guidelines, but also widened the Act's purview to encompass previously overlooked areas. An essential addition was the inclusion of underground storage tanks. Before this, the control and regulation of these tanks were somewhat ambiguous, but the amendments clarified this and introduced strict requirements for underground tanks storing petroleum or certain hazardous substances. This was a significant move forward in preventing soil and groundwater contamination. Similarly, the corrective action for facilities that were handling hazardous waste was another significant addition. The amendment mandated these facilities to investigate and clean up any releases of hazardous waste that could affect the environment and human health. This was a crucial step in controlling the adverse effects of hazardous waste. RCRA's evolution didn't stop there. It carried on in the years that followed, with further modifications and rules being added. For instance, in the early 90s, there was a significant shift in focus towards waste minimization and recycling, underscoring an even more considerable commitment to resource conservation. Voiceover. Accurate record keeping is a vital aspect of waste management, and the RCRA recognizes this importance. It mandates that all generators of hazardous waste must maintain comprehensive records of their waste generation and disposal activities. This step is not only crucial for regulatory compliance, but also contributes to effective waste management. One of the key components of record keeping under the RCRA is the Uniform Hazardous Waste Manifest. This document is a tracking system that accompanies hazardous waste from the moment it leaves the generator's site until it reaches the designated waste management facility. The manifest includes specific details about the waste, such as its type, quantity, and the parties involved in its transport and disposal. Filling out the manifest accurately is of paramount importance. It must reflect the true nature and quantity of the waste. The generator must also ensure that the waste is shipped to a facility that is permitted to handle it. The manifest is then signed by all involved parties, the generator, transporter, and the receiving facility, thus creating a cradle-to-grave tracking system. RCRA places significant emphasis on correct record keeping. Any failure to maintain accurate records can lead to penalties, including fines or even imprisonment. These consequences underline the seriousness with which RCRA views record keeping. It's not just about compliance. It's about safeguarding our environment and health. In conclusion, keeping accurate records not only ensures compliance with regulations, but also contributes to effective waste management. It helps us understand our waste generation patterns, facilitates safe disposal, and is a crucial element in our journey toward a sustainable future. Central to our efforts towards a sustainable future is the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, a beacon of cognizance to the harsh reality of our finite resources. RCRA identifies and acknowledges that the Earth's resources are not limitless, and that the unchecked production of waste can have severe and profound impacts on our health and the environment that sustains us. RCRA has a critical role, ensuring that the future we're building is a sustainable one. It does so by establishing comprehensive guidelines for the safe disposal of hazardous waste. It provides a roadmap on how these waste products should be managed and disposed of to prevent environmental contamination and safeguard public health. From industrial byproducts to household waste, RCRA ensures that all hazardous elements are handled with the utmost care and responsibility. Moreover, RCRA goes beyond just waste disposal. It also regulates the management of underground storage tanks, a vital issue that often slips under the radar. These tanks, often used to store hazardous substances, can pose significant threats to groundwater, a precious resource for communities across the country. RCRA has exacting standards for the installation, operation, and closure of these tanks to prevent any leaks or spills that may contaminate our supplies. In addition, RCRA extends its influence to promoting recycling and resource conservation. It encourages practices that reduce the amount of waste we generate, and it advocates for the recycling of materials wherever. In doing so, it not only reduces the pressure on our landfills, but also emphasizes the efficient use of our resources. In essence, RCRA plays a significant part in our waste management strategies. The safe disposal of hazardous waste, regulating underground storage tanks, and promoting recycling and resource conservation. It stands as a pillar in our pursuit of a sustainable future, cognizant of the finite nature of our resources. In the world of waste management, being prepared for emergencies is crucial. One can never predict when a hazardous waste spill or leak may occur, and when it does, every second counts. The safe and efficient handling of such emergencies can help mitigate potential damage to the environment and safeguard public health. This is where the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act comes into play. RCRA does not only regulate the management and disposal of hazardous waste, but it also provides comprehensive guidelines for emergency response to hazardous waste incidents. It mandates that all facilities dealing with hazardous waste must have a detailed emergency response plan in place. This plan outlines the steps to be taken in the event of a spill, leak, or other emergency, ensuring that all personnel are adequately prepared to handle such situations swiftly and effectively. Let's take a look at some real-life examples. In 2012, a storage facility in New Jersey experienced a significant chemical spill. Thanks to the facility's adherence to RCRA guidelines, the incident was quickly contained, and the spill was cleaned up with minimal environmental impact. Similarly, in 2018, an underground storage tank in California began leaking hazardous substances. However, due to the rigorous training and emergency response procedures laid out under RCRA, the leak was promptly detected and dealt with, preventing any contamination of nearby groundwater resources. As these examples illustrate, being prepared for emergencies can make all the difference when it comes to protecting human health and the environment. RCRA, through its stringent guidelines and regulations, ensures that when it comes to hazardous waste, we are never caught off guard. We are always prepared, always ready, and always working towards a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable future. Delving deeper, the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, often referred to as RCRA, is a potent and all-encompassing waste management and resource conservation statute. Functioning on several levels, RCRA meticulously regulates the entire life cycle of products, from their creation to their disposal, with a keen focus on reducing waste output. It is a stalwart champion of recycling and reuse initiatives, encouraging not just the repurposing of materials, but also the rethinking of consumption and production patterns. By promoting such practices, RCRA aids in reducing the extraction of new resources, thereby curtailing environmental harm and enhancing sustainability. Moreover, RCRA is a robust safeguard for the environment and public health. It rigorously lays down procedures for the handling and disposal of hazardous waste, that such waste is managed in a way that poses little to no threat to the environment and human health. But it's crucial to remember that RCRA's mission isn't just about managing waste. It's about sculpting a sustainable future. This sustainability ethos weaves through every aspect of our lives, from governmental policies to the businesses we down to the individual choices we make daily. So, remember to ponder over the life cycle of the item next time you discard something. Consider its past journey and the potential journeys it could undertake, because nothing is truly waste in waste management. Each discarded item is part of an ongoing cycle, a cycle that RCRA carefully regulates to shape a future that is cleaner, greener, and more sustainable. Before we dive into the ways to manage hazardous waste, it's imperative to understand the interplay between federal and state regulations in waste management. While RCRA sets the federal guidelines, it's often the state regulations that play a more immediate role in our lives. The resource. Conservation and Recovery Act provides the federal framework for the management of hazardous and non-hazardous solid waste. However, the states are authorized to implement and enforce RCRA regulations within their jurisdictions, provided their regulations are at least as stringent as the federal standards. The state hazardous waste agencies often have their own set of regulations which not only enforce federal rules, but also supplement them with additional requirements. These may vary from state to state, making it essential for businesses and individuals to understand their local regulations in addition to RCRA. Let's take an example. California, known for its progressive environmental policies, has established the Department of Toxic Substances Control, DTSC, that oversees the handling, treatment, and disposal of hazardous waste in the state. The DTSC often sets regulations that are even more stringent than the federal RCRA standards, which businesses operating in California must adhere to. In contrast, other states might have regulations that closely mirror the federal standards, but adapt them to cater to the state's specific waste management needs. This variation in regulations across states underlines the importance of understanding both federal and state regulations to ensure compliance and effective waste management. Remember, waste management isn't just about following the rules, but understanding them and their implications. By doing so, we can contribute to the goals of RCRA and help create a more sustainable future. Stay tuned as we delve into some effective strategies for managing hazardous waste in the next segment. Having gained a deeper understanding of RCRA and its regulations, it's time we delve into some effective ways to manage hazardous waste. This isn't just about following rules. It's about taking active steps towards a greener, more sustainable future. Firstly, we can reduce the generation of hazardous waste. This might involve altering production processes, promoting the use of non-hazardous or less hazardous materials, or implementing conservation techniques. Next, we can recycle hazardous waste safely and efficiently. This involves reusing or reclaiming waste materials by employing methods that are safe for both humans and the environment. Thirdly, treating hazardous waste to reduce its toxicity is another effective way to manage it. This could include chemical, thermal, biological, and physical processes that make the waste less harmful and easier to handle. Finally, we can safely dispose of hazardous waste. This involves placing waste in a secure landfill, injecting it deep into the ground, or incinerating it under high temperatures. By understanding and implementing these methods, we can contribute to the goals of RCRA and help create a more sustainable future. Remember, every step we take towards managing waste effectively is a step towards a cleaner, healthier world. So, let's all do our part to make this vision a reality. Building on our earlier discussion of managing hazardous waste, let's delve deeper into a key component of RCRA: the Environmental Protection Agency's, or EPA's, Cradle to Grave program. This innovative program is a cornerstone of RCRA, designed to track hazardous waste from the moment it's generated, throughout its transportation, treatment, and storage until its final disposal, hence the name Cradle to Grave. The program plays a crucial role in managing hazardous waste. It ensures that every entity involved in the life cycle of hazardous waste, from the businesses that generate it to the facilities that treat and dispose of it, follows stringent regulations to prevent harmful waste from causing damage to the environment and public health. This includes maintaining accurate records and using secure methods for transport, storage, and disposal. The impact of the Cradle to Grave program on waste management practices cannot be overstated. It has revolutionized the way we handle hazardous waste, ushering in an era of greater transparency, accountability, and safety. It's a powerful testament to RCRA's commitment to comprehensive waste management, ensuring that hazardous waste is handled responsibly from the moment it's created to the moment it's disposed of. In summary, the Cradle to Grave program exemplifies RCRA's commitment to comprehensive waste management. It serves as a reminder of the importance of each step in the hazardous waste management process and the role that each of us plays in creating a safer, cleaner world.